So I watched some Fox News and I got a few things to talk about. They said something about, and keep in mind I've watched MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News 3 straight weeks. 2 weeks after it, I realized all the lies that Fox puts out there and misinformation. But someone said on Fox said something about Kamala or Kamala Harris and her record. I think what she meant by that is who she is as a person, who she tries to be, and what she's tried to do in government. Tried, maybe not succeeded. I think it's more about character. It's not about whatever you guys are trying to make it about. It's about who she tries to be in the world and who Donald Trump is in the world. And her being a prosecutor is definitely going to be interesting, to say the least, if she ends up being elected. The thing about, like last night, something about nominating a nominee before, or selecting a nominee, whatever. Something about the way they went about her, people saying that they'll support her as a nominee, and now they're saying today that, people put a nomination in for Biden, and the funds for him running being switched over to her. Well, I think I should be allowed to say what I'm about to say. And this election thing has been like waiting for my Republican Christian father to come home and beat me every night. And before Kamala Harris said she was running, and it's been looking the way it's been looking so far, the honeymoon, as Fox calls it, I have been waiting for a bulletin, waiting for the elections, like waiting for my father to get home and do what he did to me, except it's going to be a bullet in the head and fall into a mass grave. I'm sorry, I'm calling it like I see it, with what it is. And that's the way I see it with Project 2025 and the passive threats that have been made. And anyways, I digress. So yeah, like far as that goes, I have more hope now that I don't feel as upset and concerned as I was 2 days ago. And Jan, my roommate, ex-girlfriend, whatever, she said the same thing. She was like, I was really messed up, and now that she has decided to run, I feel so much better. And I never voted in my life, but to try and keep Trump out, I did. And Florida popular vote was Biden, but it didn't win the Electoral College. And this time I'm going to vote too, God willing, or the universe willing, nature willing, and to try and stop him again. And I also donated $20 today to her campaign, and so did Jan. So we feel very positive about this. And as far as me and Jan go, our view of being swindled out of who we wanted, or whatever Fox has said about the situation, I feel good about it. I'm not so upset. I actually had a good day today, and so did Jan, and she said it to me, and I said the same thing to her. So far as me having a problem, and Jan, 2 people in one household having a problem with what's happening, we don't have a problem, and it has actually made us feel much, much, much better for a few days. But that, it'll be a few days, and you guys are doing your legal, trying to create your legal situations to try and stop the funds from being switched over, or anything happening. But this is 2 people. I'm a registered independent, and Jan's registered as what she is, and I have a great deal less stress today because of it. So I don't know. Fox wants to say that, put people on there and say that a narrative of, we got swindled out of what we wanted or whatever. No, I feel better now. I really do. Another thing is Fox wanted to say something about name calling. It's to 11 now, but that's whatever show happened. It was like 30 minutes. Fox wants to talk about name calling and things. I sit there and watch the stuff that they say on Fox, and it's really offensive, and I think that they only keep it held back as like they do because it's a cable network and there's rules that they have to adhere to. But the name calling, I sit there and watch Fox do name calling that is insane and totally off the scale of reasonable. It's absurd, and they wanted to take and relate Kamala Harris being a prosecutor and Trump being a felon, and you want to talk about name calling. Well, I watched Fox do name calling. All they did was say what they are for, an accepted term, and you guys sit there and say stuff all the time that's really messed up. They said something about her being Biden on steroids. Well, as far as I'm concerned about that, I want a Bernie Sanders that is on steroids that's so far left, when he goes left, he comes from the right back to himself. So yeah, that's what I'm for. Something about bailing out rioters, people bail people out all the time for stuff, but it seems to me that, a lot of, there's some people in this country that want to create a lot of situations and get people into situations or push them into situations or provoke them or, do all kinds of stuff through legislation and what is said or expressed public opinion, what's accepted as public opinion. And I think that sometimes people end up in situations that were kind of handed to them on a silver platter, and they sit there and try and make you eat it. And so as far as making a bail fund or anything for anything that happened, I think that sometimes people have trouble controlling themselves, and there's people that are in the jail that are full of people who are violent and stuff. So I'm not condoning any behavior, but I do think what has happened to black people in this country, if someone wants to do something to try and alleviate some pressure off of a situation that's been created for them, I don't see what's wrong with that. So yeah, I sit there and it's just whether it be Fox wants to say it's a honeymoon or that we're this or that or we're going to find out this, I feel better today, and I know how it is with the conservatives and the Republicans and the right, whatever it is. It's a situation where they're going to try and do something. They're going to create a legal battle and probably say that she can't run for president as it appears right now. But I got to say, what I just said about me and Jan and how we felt 2 days ago and how broken and upset and concerned we were about the state of this country. And it's in school, the wealthy kids and the stuff they did, I sit there and watch Fox, and I sit there and then do this real-time hypocrisy, bait and switch, whatever they want to call it, and it's just, it's like I moved into a retirement, a 55-plus community, and the thing is when I got in here, I thought that it was to keep people out, but it's not. And I lost my train of thought, so there you go. Fox is a mess. And they need to stop what they're doing. It shouldn't be allowed what Fox News is doing. they're complaining about the situation and Kamala Harris being nominated as president, and they want to try and stop it. But yet today, me and Jan, for the first time in a long time, just like had a good day where we weren't depressed and so upset. And I understand, like Fox says, it's a honeymoon phase. But we had a good day today. Really. It's been really rare, especially since Trump got his the felonies. Because after that happened, I could clearly see where everything was going, and Jan could too. The thing is with me, the thing is I see stuff, man. Like, I just, like, years ago, I thought it would get to a situation like this. But the thing is I never predicted, like, the method of chaos and the real-time hypocrisy and the bait and switch and the real-time hypocrisy that the conservative Republicans do. Whatever you are, the right, whatever you're calling yourself, fascist, I don't know, but I'm calling it like I see it. I think it's a fascist thing. And the biggest thing about everything that's happening right now is AI. This is about people not wanting to do old conservative traditions, which are the base, and them wanting something different. And the thing is AI is woven into the universe. Any civilization, anything like that develops, has the Industrial Revolution, develops the types of switches, and bog communication between two computers at whatever speed. They're going to come to AI. It's every species in this universe is going to come to it at some point if they get to that point in their evolution. And the biggest thing is the fight over the technology. That is the biggest element here. I see people put stuff online and down talk AI and the bubbles bursting and all this different stuff, and it's just, it's wild to see, for whatever reason they're saying what they're saying. And I really think it boils down to money, popularity, power, and people holding on to that. It's going to make the world a better place, and they need to control it. And I think that's what the actual real fight is over in all this, is artificial intelligence and the control, to be able to drive it and control it and make. I'll say this, from what I've heard about Project 2025, and I've seen some on the screen and read to me, like, dude, they're gonna take, if they control AI, they're going to take it and do whatever they want with us. And Fox News said something tonight about AI news. And really, that was something I was thinking about doing. I know I don't have the power for it right now. I just got, a kind of a $300 video card. That's all I could afford to play with the algorithms. And I wanted to try and build a little news, a website with a little news thing, and newscasters, maybe a scientist, environmentalist, a few characters that interact with each other. Not saying that I can do it. It's something I'm thinking I want to try and look into over time. So yeah, I want to actually thought about that, and another thing. Oh, if you're looking at the aluminum foil on the window, so like there's like this whole thing where like, I don't know, the stream was crashing and I had to put it at a really low bit rate, where you could barely read it, make it out, but the music would play on the live feed. And I sat there and fought with this, and my camera's crashing all the time, and just the internet going out, and like, so it's weird. And there's flipper zeros out there, and people can walk around with them in their pocket, and it's just so. Like today, I get up and I walk out and out of my room, and it's took a long time to get the stream to stay online for like 8 hours before it would crash in every 10 minutes. If I take it above 0.9 megabits, it'll crash within 10 minutes or 30 or an hour, depending on if I set it at 1024 for the bit rate, and it's going to crash really fast. The internet goes out like every 10 minutes, everything. And so today, a car drove by the house, and it had an antenna on it, CB ham, I don't know, but it knocked out everything in the house. Everything in the house went out. And so, like, at that point, I disconnected the routers in the house, and a few of them, but I couldn't disconnect mine because I'm using it as a switch, and Jan has my switch in her room. So I had to leave it on. So what I ended up doing was I took aluminum foil and I wrapped the router in a manner where some signal would get in and some signal would get out. And the other router I have, and I disconnected the other router. It's too close to the road. So like, I've been having these problems for a long time, and I digress on all that though. But I took and wrapped the part of the router in aluminum foil where a certain amount of signal would get in and out, and I grounded it. And guess what? Lo and behold, it just starts working and it doesn't go out. So I say, well, this is weird. So I've got one router disconnected. I've got the other two wrapped in aluminum foil where a little signal will get out. Basically, what I'm saying here is signals that are further away are going to have a hard time getting past aluminum foil, but enough gets out and enough gets in from the devices in the metal trailer that's the house that it works. And it stays working. So back to that. Lo and behold, so I say, oh, it's staying stable now that I've done this. It's not going out every 10 minutes. The stream's not stopping and trying to reconnect every 10 minutes. And so I say, let me turn up the bit rate. So I turn up the bit rate to 4 times what it is. So it's up to it's like 5 megabits right now. And guess what? It's been working. And so so I'm like, okay, it's worked for 4 hours. So then a car comes in the neighborhood, goes around the corner, and after I put the first set of aluminum foil on it, initially, the antennas, people would go by and the music would just skip for a second after that, and so now it would just skip it would skip after I did that. It would skip for a long time before I put the aluminum foil on the antennas. So I'm having that little problem, and then this car drives by, and it obviously causes a problem, and I think I've seen it a few times. So then all of a sudden, like, it starts happening again. So I'm like, shit, man, it's been fine for 4 hours, higher bit rate, all that. And so I'm like, shit. So what do? I go and grab more aluminum foil and shield the direction from the direction of where where I saw this car. And guess what? Since I added the next layer of aluminum foil around the router and grounded it, it hasn't had any more problems, but it was persistent until I added that second layer of shielding, so I've got the antennas wrapped, and it did better, really. And then it started cutting out after, like I said, and I put another layer on this side and this side where the problem seemed, where I thought the problem was coming from, and lo and behold, the problem stopped again. So I don't know, man. I might end up with like some crazy freaking ghetto. I didn't. Anyways, ball of aluminum foil to secure my router. And I think it's interesting that, I've always kind of been a fan of aluminum foil, and I keep a roll in here. And yeah, so like today, everything got knocked out in the house, and it's happening. Shit's getting knocked out all the time. It was just everything got knocked out, so I wanted to do the router thing, and so Kamala Harris got in today. Whatever's jamming up our network, I did some started messing with aluminum foil and CBs when I was a kid. So did that, so my network seems stable. So Kamala Harris got in a situation, I feel better, Jam feels better. My whole network went out today, which stuff's been dropping on it all the time, and the feed, the stream with the music goes out all the time. I have to reset, start it all the time, and found a partial solution to secure my network a little better from whatever the hell, and see what comes up next with Kamala Harris and what other interesting problems I'm going to have with my home network.